very, very young, back when I raced through math packets just for fun, and before I had learned the true difference between an A- and a B+. I imagined that one day I'd be that kid up there at my graduation giving a speech, and then I learned that was usually the job of the valedictorian. I can assure you that is not why I'm here today. But hey, somehow I made it anyway. It was an honor. It was an honor to have been voted female speaker for this class of 2010. I guess it's the closest I'll ever get to being prom queen too, so here goes my dance. When I began the process of writing this speech, I read the speeches of previous graduates and soon realized I had no business being anywhere near this podium. I had no idea how exactly I was going to pull this off without any emergencies, but I'd say therapy went quite well. First, I would like to thank my teachers. The faculty and staff at GDS are an especially dedicated bunch, and if it weren't for their genuine interest in our success, I'm sure many of us would not be here today. Where else could you meet a man like John Burkhart? English used to make me cry. Because the text particularly moved me, more so because of the deadlines. But John found a way to make me love it. That deep wizardly voice explained every passage as if each was the single greatest piece of literature ever written. Writing had never been my thing, but somehow he managed to uncover a nugget of beauty in anything that I wrote. I could come and say, well, John, I only have my name so far. And John will say something like this. Oh, Monique, it's beautiful. Now, where do you want to take this? At this time, I'd like to thank all the amazing teachers for taking the time to show us all how capable we are. Office, St. Barbara Bergman, Chris, Bobby, and all the shooting stars. Kevin and Peter, we thank you as well for putting up with us for these past 4 years. But I think if there's anything we've learned about the class of 2010, is we know we can throw a party. Now I'd like you to think for a minute. What would you say to a class of 121 eager graduates, their parents, grandparents, friends, and the poor little kidnapped and suited up little siblings who assuredly had better things to do this afternoon? Well, I'll tell you one thing. I would not use this time to shout out the women's basketball team. That got me into a little bit of trouble. These past 3 years have been pretty eventful for us, but also the rest of the world. The election of Barack Obama surely made history somewhere. The ever-anticipated iPhone was released, which I think we could all agree changed our lives forever. We've witnessed terrible tragedies, including the earthquake in Haiti, the Red Line Metro collision, the death of the great Michael Jackson, the Obama girls' first day at Sidwell. Fortunately, we were here for the opening of both Sex and the City 1 and 2, the epic Avatar, and I'm sure some of you are excited for these 7 Twilight movies that come out like every Friday. I'm sure you're thinking, I have no profound wisdom of my own to impart on you this afternoon, And you are right. However, I have prepared a few words to push you in the right direction. So far in our lives, most of us have gotten used to being able to do whatever we decide to put our minds to. Life is about to get a little harder, and there will be times when you will fall. What is important is that we learn from these experiences and move on. And in the case that you fall short again, you make sure you tell them to check their work. I thought it appropriate to quote someone smart here, so I consulted the smartest person that I know, Google. Inspiring quotes, please. And this is what I found. John Quincy Adams once said, "Patience and perseverance have a magical effect before which difficulties disappear and obstacles vanish. A little knowledge that acts is worth infinitely more than much knowledge that is idle." We all know this class is full of bright minds, and as GDSers, we have always been encouraged not only to speak our minds, but also to pursue our ambitions. I believe some of the most innovative ideas of our generation may very well come from the minds of this room. After all, it is 2010. Cars should be flying by now. And I'm sure this whole high school thing would have been a lot easier if my parents had been able to download right into my brain your baby can do calculus. Let's skip that. As one of Peter's favorite authors, Dr. Seuss, once said, "Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter." I dare you to continue to speak up and share your opinions, even when they may not be the most popular. In fact, the more surprising, the better. Even if no one agrees, you may get a few laughs. And if a few do, you may even start a revolution. I challenge you to defy the norms of this world, which should be pretty easy, actually, considering GDS students have never really been normal. And now I know I'm supposed to leave you with the big final point. I got my inspiration for this simple message from none other than Jay-Z. In the song Young Forever, the rapper expresses his confidence in the fact that he will be remembered long after he is gone because he has lived his life appreciating every moment. One of my biggest regrets of high school is that some of my best memories came at the end of it all. Before I knew it, it was over. If I could give one piece of advice for you to take with you from this point on, it would be to live every moment to the fullest. Enjoy the here and now, because there really is no time like the present. John Lennon said, "Life happens while we're busy making other plans." So people, it's time to do away with your hoppers, because life is coming and I don't want us to miss it. So with that, cherish this time with your friends, because somewhere it is written that we all must grow up. And when that time comes, I hope we are all fortunate enough to find our true passions, but at the very least, make sure you're doing something that you are proud of. We're stepping out into the world with just our names now, and it is up to us to decide where we want to take it. I wish happiness and the most success to this class of 2010, and as Jay-Z might say it, may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Thank you.